Harts going to talk tonight about his product. This machine was developed, I believe, by his company, and it was developed for their dealers in the United States and throughout Canada, so that they could then put someone on who was interested in a custom-made bike and get the exact measurements off of this that would help them in developing a bike that's exactly to your specifications. And I think it's been changed with the software, but the machine is still the same. Am I correct?
All of our original elements are still in your software.
Right, right.
But they've added to it.
They added quite a bit
on the
to it,
market
yeah.
how long?
The original, about 3 years, and then this came out at Interbike in September.
Yeah.
I have a question. I noticed like I'm the only female here, but being of a female persuasion and also being vertically challenged, it's always been a challenge to find the right bike.
Mm-hmm.
And years ago, I started out with a Pinarello, and the dealer said, "Oh, you know, with a unisex bike, we can make any, you know, the right bike frame fit you." And you know, it was okay. I mean, it worked for me. But then I tried a specialized women-specific design and also a Trek women-specific design, and I'm way more comfortable. Again, you know, because our ratio of the torso to the legs is different.
Absolutely.
than the male. So I was just
well, this has
wondering-
women specific in it, so it doesn't ask me. Oh, well, it does ask me at the very beginning when it wants to know if you're a male or female. So I hit both. Now I've had some couple of fits done with shorter guys, okay? And even though I put male down, it would actually list some women's bikes that would fit them too, along with all the male bikes. But it does ask me for whether you're male or female. And then at the end, when you ask it for a list of bikes that would fit you or models that would work for you, it would probably be mostly women specific. So yeah.
Now, take her for an example, that she's shorter, and let's say she has 5 different bikes, and 2 of them fit her really, really great. They're really comfortable. 2 different brands or 2 different models,
Right.
And 3 of them, they're okay. You know, she bought one years ago, maybe the
Right.
Pinarello,
Right.
and she wants to upgrade and go to a better bike, a lighter carbon bike,
Right.
better components or whatever. You could, if she gave you the model numbers and the sizes or whatever of her 5 bikes and say, these 2 bikes here really fit me good, you could then look at other bikes.
It wouldn't be the way to do it.
No, what I would rather do
We'll
is
go backwards
what
like
I would
that.
rather you do is bring those bikes to me. Let me take let me shoot the X and Y. Take the stack and reach too, because I measure the frame for stack. See what you're talking about is the stack and the reach of the frame. You know what happens is that, and you know what that is?
You're really talking
Okay.
about how the bikes
Yeah.
are set up.
All right.
yeah.
So here's what we're talking about when we talk about stack and reach, and a lot of people don't talk about this, but the stack height of a frame is from the center of this bottom bracket measured up to the top of here. Now, a lot of frames are different, you know, and you don't even think about this, but a lot of frames are different from here to here. If you don't have enough stack height here, you'll never get to where you want to be up here sometimes. Or, you know, and I'll give you an example. I did a tri-fit about a month ago, and he had an old Elite just like yours. And really, when we did the fit and came out with the models, the Cervelo model was a 48. And when I looked at the stack height where he said he was comfortable, I couldn't get his Elite to low enough, because this was already too high. And he'd like to be down here. So literally what you have is a negative degree, so you're trying to get down past this stack height. And then your reach, okay, is the same thing. The reach is going out this way. So the stack and reach are really important. And if you ever notice when you look at a lot of the specs on bikes, it'll tell you at the very bottom, stack and reach. So that becomes an issue. So it depends on the bikes that you like. What I would tell you to do is, let me see the bikes you really like. I could measure them and write all the measurements down. And the bikes that you say don't fit you as well, we could then go back and shoot those and see what you might need to do to make them fit. Or if you want a new bike, then we can look at the stack and reach that those bikes have to make sure that they'll fall within your parameters. And did I hit that all right, Bill, or
Yep.
would you have anything to add to that?
No, bang on.
Okay.
I'm kind of curious, like when you say, you know, you might choose to have a slightly different stack and have a lower position, but it's not possible for the bike. Do you also have parameters built into the machine to to tell that person that, you know, that may be what you feel most comfortable with in these 3 seconds sitting on the bike now, but in fact you'd be more efficient if you were higher, or you'll last longer if you're higher, or you'll run off the bike better if you're, you know, in a slightly different position than the one that just feels
Well, what
comfortable.
we try to do is, you know, it's always the comfort and power, right? I mean, that's what we're trying to balance, especially for tri guys. So, you know, I think that once you're on this machine and you start riding, and you know, you're up on the saddle and you're up there in the drops on this, I think we can get you to a point where you know where you have that right feeling. You know what I mean? And then looking at that versus what you're riding, I would say that if you've been riding for quite a while and you know what you like, we're not going to be real far off here. You know what I mean? You might be within we might be able to tweak it watching your output and talking to you as we're doing. That's the beauty of this, because you're telling me where to go. I'm not moving you. You're moving me. So as you're riding, and I'm going up higher in the saddle, or going closer, or bringing the handlebars back, or bringing them up, or bringing them down, you're pretty much telling me that you like it or you don't like it. And then when we get close to whatever you like, we can capture that and hold it, and we can always change it. But we can always capture that exact where you are specifically, and then always go back to that. We can always go back to that as either our starting point or our ending point, wherever you want to be. So I think, you know, I have a guy that I've trained that does tries. He knows much more about the try side of it than I do, and he could really tweak you as far as if you are having any issues. And if you're not, that's okay. But if you're having any type of issue, then, you know, you could come in and see where it is in relationship to what you already have.
I was wondering about, I was at Cadence on the weekend in the Ride Across America,
Right.
coaching that we're doing for us, and there was a buddy of mine, and his knees go in and out like this,
Right.
every time, so they don't go up and down straight, they do this.
Right.
And the coach briefly said, oh, you've got a terrible fitting. Is it your experience that changes in fitting can it change the habit like that, or is it
when your knees go in like that?
yeah, they go in, but then they come out again, sort of like, you know.
That could be biomechanical. It could be something with his cleats, something with his footbed.
It could be
He
him
has those
too.
round cleats that actually have a lot of mobility.
But yeah, but it could be him too. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a young junior in here that we did a fit on last week, and for the longest time, remember, he would throw that one knee in as he pedaled around, and he had to work that out. So you can get the right fit as far as your height and everything there. But again, it seems like a biomechanical. Does it hurt him when he rides?
No, it's just the way
But
you ride.
you'd have to see it. And the one thing I'd say is it's not just you and the machine. A good fitter, it's a tool for a good fitter. So Ross's eye, or this tri guy, or whoever's doing the fit with you, they'll see things by standing off to the side, having experience with the data that's being put out, and just by seeing what you're doing that you can't see. You'll feel the difference when he makes an adjustment, and you'll say that feels more comfortable or not, but some of it's a visual thing for the fitter.